Miyamoto Musashi stands as a legendary figure, renowned as the greatest swordsman in Japan's history and unbeaten in over 60 duels. His survival from the Battle of Sekigahara led him to a life as a ronin. Musashi was not just a master of the blade, he was also a philosopher, an artist, and a deeply knowledgeable Buddhist. Before passing away, he bequeathed the world with 21 principles called Dokkōdō, timeless guidelines that continue to inspire modern living. These principles fundamentally underscore the importance of focus, a deep, concentrated engagement in activities or interests. Focus was a pivotal element in Musashi's philosophy of the way, embodying a lifestyle of constant practice. His teachings emphasize the significance of restraint, sacrifice, discipline, and the resistance to pleasures, all cultivated to enhance one's ability to maintain focus. During his times of isolation from society, Musashi dedicated himself to honing his skills and pursuing enlightenment through the way of the sword. This series delves into Musashi's Dokkōdō, with the first segment having covered the initial 7 principles. The current installment focuses on living a life of profound focus, as guided by the subsequent 7 principles. The insights presented here draw from established philosophies, the author's interpretations, and aim to serve as an inspiration for contemporary life. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. Separation occurs in various forms, temporary due to travel or relocation, or permanent through death, as well as from objects like personal belongings or money. Often, being parted from what we cherish leads to suffering due to our attachment and the sense of loss, stemming from the belief that these things are integral parts of us. In Buddhism, this notion of possession is seen as a delusion. Buddhists believe that true ownership extends only to our mental faculties. Even our bodies are not entirely under our control. As a ronin and a Buddhist, Musashi likely understood this fallacy of possession and the weight of attachment. His path, marked by solitude and practice, necessitated indifference towards separations since life inherently involves them. Attachment would only bring continual sorrow for a ronin constantly on the move. Embracing life's temporary nature, including the inevitability of death, was essential. In his Book of 5 Rings, Musashi states that a warrior's path involves the resolute acceptance of death, encompassing not just the death of enemies, but also of comrades, those he couldn't save, and the constant risk to his own life. Musashi's keen awareness of death's inevitability taught him to accept life's impermanence, easing the difficulty of facing it. Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. People often find themselves caught in the cycle of resentment and complaints, which is easy to fall into, especially for those with critical perspectives and strong beliefs about how life should be. Continually focusing on external dissatisfactions signifies a distraction from personal growth. For someone committed to constant self-improvement, dwelling in resentment and complaints about the world or oneself is counterproductive. The world, with its uncontrollable nature and people acting against our values and ethics, is beyond our ability to change. People will display all manners of behavior, from rudeness to ungratefulness, and life itself isn't fair, with inequalities in talents, looks, and health. Trying to change these inherent disparities, though a noble pursuit, is nearly impossible, as nature consistently proves resistant. From a Buddhist perspective, excessive efforts to alter the world are futile. Our focus should lie within, on self-development and acceptance. Resisting resentment towards the existing state of affairs is advisable. It is more prudent to focus on our own lives, striving to live the best we can while accepting others as they are. This aligns with the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius' counsel to be tolerant with others and strict with oneself. 10. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. This principle advises against being swayed by feelings of lust or love. In an earlier discussion, I examined different types of love, including the selfless agape and the more selfish eros, as classified by the ancient Greeks. Musashi's warning likely pertains to eros, a type of love driven by lustful desires, also referred to in Buddhism as romantic love. In contemporary culture, romantic love is often exalted as a paramount pursuit. However, Musashi, as a swordsman and a Buddhist, likely disapproved of this veneration of romantic love. Being guided by lust and love can distract and hinder progress, a concept well understood in Buddhist teachings. Rather than being blindly led by romantic feelings, it is wiser to retain rational thinking and remain focused on our path. Decisions made under the influence of love or lust can lead to irrational actions, sometimes even violence or betrayal. 11. In all things have no preferences. This principle emphasizes the pitfalls of having strong preferences. Preferences create dependencies on external conditions, leading to happiness when desires are met and disappointment when they are not. Since we have little control over external circumstances, preferences give undue power to these circumstances over our emotions. Musashi, encountering diverse people and situations, maintained a calm mind, essential for staying on his path. Reducing preferences can aid in facing whatever life presents, ensuring our focus remains unaffected by external outcomes. 12. Be indifferent to where you live. Musashi, as a ronin, lived in various places, from lavish castles to humble caves. His commitment to his way of life remained constant, regardless of his living conditions. Nowadays, people often place a significant importance on their living environment. However, excessive attachment to living conditions can lead to anxiety when these conditions change. While safety is a legitimate concern, often it's mere dissatisfaction driving the desire for a new home. The initial satisfaction from moving is typically short-lived, as true contentment comes from within. Being content with our living situation, however simple, frees us from unnecessary worries and helps maintain focus on our goals. 13. Do not pursue the taste of good food. Musashi advises against the pursuit of culinary pleasures. Many indulge in the joys of eating, but there are drawbacks to this indulgence. Stoic philosophers like Zeno of Citium also cautioned against extravagant eating, promoting simplicity in meals. Becoming accustomed to lavish dining can diminish appreciation for simpler fare. Overindulgence in food often leads to a continuous search for more extravagant and stimulating culinary experiences. 14. Excessive eating habits can easily lead to gluttony, which is associated with various health issues. Contrary to popular belief, a glutton might not genuinely appreciate food. Often, those who eat and drink excessively do not engage in mindful eating or savor the meal before them. Instead, their eating is compulsive, a temporary escape from the discomfort of cravings. A healthier alternative is to practice mindful eating, consuming food in moderate quantities, and resisting the urge to give in to cravings. This approach reduces attachment to taste and diminishes the likelihood of overeating. Ultimately, the primary purpose of eating is to nourish our bodies, providing the necessary fuel for living and thriving. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. Musashi's lifestyle as a ronin likely embraced the principles of minimalism. His nomadic life, marked by constant travel and dedication to mastering his swordsmanship, meant that possessions would have been more of a hindrance than a help. Aside from his swords, only the essentials were necessary for his survival and practice. Many people accumulate possessions, mistakenly believing that more material goods equate to more happiness. This pursuit can offer temporary satisfaction, but it often leads to a continuous desire for more. The more we own, the heavier the burden we carry, eventually becoming slaves to our possessions. This attachment and the relentless pursuit of material goods breed anxiety, fear of losing what we have, and fear of not acquiring what we desire. However, when one finds higher satisfaction and contentment in simplicity, as taught in Buddhism, the pursuit of material possessions seems less appealing. The ultimate goal is to travel lightly through life, like a ronin, focusing on what truly matters. Thank you for watching, and please support our channel by liking or leaving a comment.